Okay, I'm sorry. I'm back. I don't know. It's just stopped recording. So my mother-in-law was in town for the weekend. Around the same week that we found out that the tumor that was inside my colon um, was cancerous. So we go to the doctors on that Tuesday, and I'm looking at my husband like, oh my goodness, it's almost like when the confirmation comes through, you thinking like, I just do not want to believe this because this is just not happening to me. So we go inside the office. They called us back into the room. So my doctor, who I usually see, he wasn't available to really see me. I had to set an appointment with a nurse practitioner, right, or was a PA. No, she was a PA. She was a physician assistant. So I'm sitting in the room and I'm looking at my husband. He was on his little game because he just zones himself out. So I'm sitting there and I'm just sitting there and I'm sitting there and I'm sitting there. So finally the lady comes in. And you know when somebody comes in and you can tell they have something to say, but they just don't know how to say it or don't know how to project it across. So she sits down and she was like, "Oh, I heard you was in the hospital. How you feeling now?" I was like, "Well, I'm okay. I'm pretty much. Let's get to the meat and potatoes right now at this point. Like, they told me that's what they think it is, and I'm just not trying to accept that because not denial, but I'm just not accepting it. So she looks. She said, "I looked through your file and everything like that," and she was like, "It's cancer. You have cancer." And I looked because I kind of like froze in that moment. I froze in that moment. And now this time it's clear because first when the surgeon told me it wasn't clear, it was still foggy. But I wasn't underneath no anesthesia on this day, so it was clear. And when she looked at me and said that, I couldn't say nothing. I just I put my head down and I started crying. I'm looking like, when you think about cancer, you think about people dying from cancer. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at this lady, and then I'm looking at my husband, and I'm like, this lady is not telling me that I have cancer. My husband's looking like, oh, it's gonna be all right, it's gonna be all right, and I'm looking at her like, oh my goodness, like, lady, like, please tell me that's not what's going on right now. She was like, that's what's going on. So I was crying and everything. She came over there and she held me and she just was holding me, holding me, holding me, and my husband was just looking, and I was just like a ball of confusion, tears, fear. I'm thinking about my husband and my children. If something happens to me, what's going to happen to them, kind of thing. Like, I was just thinking about a whole bunch of stuff. I really couldn't even get myself together. So finally, we leave out the doctor's office and we come home. And I sat and I had to sit in the car for a little bit because I was telling my husband,
Get one.
she could get one. I was telling my husband like, oh my God, like I'm just so scared. What's gonna happen? And he was like, no, babe, you're gonna be fine. There's nothing wrong. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. And I'm telling him like, I'm not gonna be okay. I'm not gonna be okay because this got far beyond out of control than what I can control, if that makes sense. So, it's like I was just very upset. I was very confused. I wasn't very knowledgeable about about cancer. I know about cancer. Everybody knows about cancer, and everybody connects cancer with death and everything like that. So that's what mode I automatically went into, death. Like, oh, I'm about to die. So I really wasn't eating. I was very upset. I think I stayed in the bed for the whole day. I didn't want to do nothing. And then I'm thinking to myself, like, I gotta talk to my children. I have to tell my children. I have to talk to my kids. We have to talk to them. So my husband was saying, well, let's just wait, like, cause you still upset about it. We gotta, when we go to them, we gotta make sure we go to them. We gotta be strong. We gotta talk to them strong. We can't, we really can't really so much talk to them in a weak kind of disposition, just so they won't worry, if that makes sense. So Wednesday come around, I'm still kind of like down about it. Me and my mother-in-law, we end up going to the hair store because she know I like a good old weave and wig and everything like that. Insert. So, she prayed for me, and we was praying, and I was crying, and I was like, I just can't believe this. Like, I just cannot believe this. So, okay. So now we on to Thursday, where we had to meet up with the surgeon. So we go inside the office. Um, he brings us back, and he was like, I want to set up something for you to get this out as soon as possible, because I'll be going out of town. So we need to get this thing out like yesterday. And so I'm still confused, still overwhelmed, and everything. Like, everything that's going on in my head. So he was like, well, I know for sure it's not stage 4. So that's a good thing. He said it's between stage 1 and stage 3. He said if it's stage 1 or stage 2, um, we take it out. You don't have to look behind, put your feet on the gas, and drive fast down the highway. It's done. It's over with. You don't have to worry about nothing. This can be fixed. I can take it out, and then we'll be all done. So I'm thinking. So me and my husband, we looking like, okay. So what if it's stage 3? Like, what was, my husband was saying it's probably just only stage 2, babe. You don't have to worry about it. It's just stage 2. So he was like, if it's stage 3, you will have to get it taken out. So it'll be considered, well, anything you take out your colon is called a colon resection. So he said, we'll take it out, and then you will have to start chemo. You will have to do chemo, because chemo will clear up the rest of the micro cancer cells that's inside your colon, and it kind of kills it. So in the process of chemo, it will kill the good cells and the cancerous cells. Something like, okay, well, no, we ain't talking about chemo, so this is probably like about 1 or 2. I mean, I know God can't be that mad at me. He can't be that mad at me to make me have to go through something like this. So it's 1 or 2. It's 1 or 2. The biggest thing was knowing that I had cancer. We're going to go ahead and remove it out, and boom, 1 or 2. So we sit down with the nurse practitioner, and she tell us, she gave us a date. She's like, okay, well, we're going to try to do it August 22nd. She said, we're going to have to do it at another hospital because, no, I lied. She didn't say we had to do another hospital. The hospital that I used to work for was the hospital I found about all my diagnosis with cancer. So I was thinking maybe I was going to do it in that hospital. So she sat down with me and my husband, and she was like, is there any questions? I think she was kind of going through it real fast, but she was trying to explain to me, I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by my daughter. So she was just explaining to me and talking to me about, what happens on the surgery, blah, 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 this. I'm still thinking like, no, this is not cancer. Like, you guys are mistaken. I was crying and everything. And she was looking at me like, no. So August 22nd was my surgery. We get ready. I mean, they called me the day before and was like, oh, the hospital you thought you was going to have it at, you're not going to have it at the hospital. You're going to have it at this hospital, because he has to do it robotically and laparoscopic, and he does it robotically. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, now not only do you want to cut me open, you got to do it robotically and do all this technical stuff or whatever like that. So he told me that he was going to do it robotically, but I kind of missed that information because I was still trying to retain the other information. He was telling me, oh, the most we remove is between 8 to 12 inches. My husband going to sleep. Wake up. No time. He said the most we remove would be between 8 to 12 inches. Which is not a lot. He said, oh, that's not a lot. Everybody has at least 5 feet of colon. He said colon is the nastiest organ inside your body, so don't you worry. You're not going to really miss it. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay. So we go into surgery, and I was in there. Babe, you can talk about this part. How long was I in there? How many hours it took him?
We got there like 5:30 in the morning, and we ain't see you till about like fucking like 12, 1 o'clock, maybe.
No, it wasn't until 1 o'clock. It was later than that.
Because it was it was long. We got you there.
We got there at 6:30, not 5:30. We got there at 6:30, And
we left here at 5 something because it had to drive
oh
way
yeah, all the way out
to
there.
another city.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about this town because all I do is go to work and come home. I don't try to venture out and figure nothing out on its end.
Right. So I didn't know exactly where it was at either. But we know I didn't see y'all until like around 4 o'clock. So I know they put me back. He called me. They prepped me and everything around like 9 o'clock in the morning, and I know I was in there about 4 hours. But I think he came out and talked to them around like about 1, 2 o'clock and said everything went well. So it was a 3 to 4 hour surgery. It was like about 4 hours. When I woke up and realized, I'm awake and God didn't kill me during this thing, it was like around 3:30, close to 4 o'clock, and then I think they was about to put me inside the room. So he did the surgery. He had to cut me a total of 6 times, 5 times on my belly, and he went back inside my C-section area and pulled the colon, the cancerous colon from out my body from that point. But I wanted to bring this story because it's just one of those things where you kind of take for granted. I mean, only time we really go to the doctor is when we're sick. And they were saying, statistics is saying that you're really not supposed to get a colonoscopy until you're like 50s. But because they're seeing cancer in younger women and men between the ages of 20 and 35, they want you to get tested maybe like in your late 30s just to make sure, so that you will be aware of what's going on and why it's going on. Now, for me, I didn't have any symptoms, but I had. I not take that back. I had symptoms, but I ignored the symptoms because it seemed normal to me. It was normal to me. I would take some medicine and I would go to sleep and it would go away. So it was normal to me. But the whole time I was having symptoms of having cancer in my colon and didn't even know it. I was sleeping every day. I would have cramps. I would feel nauseous. I mean, it was to the point where my stomach started getting big. I thought I was pregnant at one point. But they told me the reason why my stomach was so big because the tumor had inflated inside my colon, and it was putting pressure like on my bowels and everything, and on my colon. You get what I'm saying? So where the cancer was in my colon, it was at the beginning of the colon. What's happened, baby? Okay, so where the cancer was in my colon, they said that it was in a spot where it could spread, but because he said he got it out in time, that wasn't the case for me. And he had to remove 12 inches, exactly 12 inches of my colon, which is a really good bit of colon. I mean, that's the damn size of a ruler. You get what I'm saying? So as I was in the hospital, trying to recover, Dad, it's okay. Go ahead and drink it, Mama. As I was in the hospital recovering, I saw him maybe he came and checked on me within 24 hours. I was having a whole bunch of issues during my stay at the hospital, but that's a whole nother story. He came and visited me on the third day because they had to send the colon sample to go get a biopsy on it and everything like that. So I'm still thinking like, okay, this thing is out. I'm good. I could go home. It just is a test to my testimony that I found out that I did have cancer. He removed everything, and I could just go forth, whatever. I could go back on this horse ride of trying to go ahead and go get my bariatric surgery, because I still was considering getting weight loss surgery because I still needed it. So when he came in, he told me, he was like, it was stage 3. It was worse than what I thought it was. He said it wasn't 4, but it was stage 3. And he said, from that, you have to do chemo. And I'm looking at him like, this is not happening. This is just not happening. Like, this is not happening. I'm definitely being pranked somewhere. First, I found out. Now, this whole journey was for me to okay, so during this time, my whole thing of it was is that I just wanted to try to get healthy. Just to live longer for my children and have more time with my husband, because we just got married last year. So I just wanted this to be healthy and to find this out in the midst of me trying to be, active to try to lose weight and try to get healthy, you know, and for this to be thrown inside of me trying to get myself together. This whole cancer thing has really put a toll on me, and it put a burden on my back. So all I could do at that point is just pray. And I just was praying and thanking God that He found it when He did, that they found it when they did, and that I can be a conqueror from all of this, and that was a test for my testimony. Because if I would have never thought to try to do weight loss surgery, I would have never found out that I had cancer. So the doctor told me that it is stage 3, and that I had to do chemo, and that I have to do it for 6 months. I have to do 12 treatments in 6 months. So I stayed in the hospital. They kept me in the hospital for 9 days, I believe. I was ready to go home from the second day, but I just wasn't feeling well. I mean, there was just so much things going on. I was running fevers. My sugars was crazy. My blood pressure was high. I couldn't walk. I was passing out. I was fainting. It was crazy. I mean, it was even at one point when my son had stayed with me the night before, and the nurse had came in to administer some medicine, whatever like that. And she was, okay, you ready to walk? You ready to walk? You ready to walk, Miss Brown? And she was pushing me to walk, and which was fine. But I knew I wasn't going to be capable of really walking. But I said, let me just go ahead and do it. End up going in there. Okay, so my husband had to leave because he was dealing with my daughter. So, while I was in the hospital the night, that night before, but I think at this time, I think I was in the hospital 3 days at this point. My oldest boy, ended up coming to visit me, and he wanted to stay overnight with me. So, like I said, the nurse came in to administer some medicine, to give me some medicine and everything like that. And she was asking me, did I want to walk? And I was like, okay, well, let's go ahead and go for it. I mean, because y'all just not going to let me lay down, which is fine. I wanted to be pushed to be getting up and walking around and everything like that. So I end up getting up. I walked to the door. And as I walked to the door of my bedroom inside the hospital, I started feeling really like dizzy and lightheaded. And I'm telling her this, like, I do not feel well, and I just do not feel well. And she was like, okay, Miss Brown, let's go ahead. We could do it. We could do it. Come on, you could do it. Come on, let's do it. And I said, okay. I mean, it was to the point where I couldn't even breathe. As I was talking to her, I was catching my breath. So we didn't even walk 1/4 of the hallway. We walked maybe from my door to the nurse's station, which was right there. My room was right there by the nurse's station. Passed out. Boom. Passed out. This drop. So they ended up picking me up, putting me in like a rolling chair. They ended up rolling me back to my room. And I just know, but it is, my son was walking with us. Because he got up. It was like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And after I passed out, I wasn't responding. My son was crying. Don't let my mommy die. Don't let my mommy die. I was just passed out, not responsive. Not responding to nothing. My eyes was dilated. I was just, something just was going on, and I don't know what the hell was going on. It was the most craziest thing. They started calling rapid response because I wasn't responding. I don't know what happened. I just was not responding. I was just zoned out. I was like, it's almost like something took over my body and had my body hostage. I could not even respond. It was the most craziest feeling ever. But I ended up staying there for 9 days, and I was thinking to myself, like, God, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna do this? How am I going to do this? How am I going to go through chemo after having cancer and still try to be normal? I had to start reading my Bible. I started reading the Bible. I started looking at scriptures for healing. I started, I started reaching out to some of my family and friends. They was praying for me and everything like that. And it was just crazy. It's just crazy. So um, get checked. Get checked. That's the best I could say. Just get checked. Get checked. That's for men and women, black or white, green, red, or purple. Go get checked because it's almost like cancer just developing itself inside people's bodies. Even some healthy people is getting cancer. You know what I mean? Not all people that's unhealthy is getting cancer. Everybody's getting cancer. You know what I mean? So it was very, very scary. It was very, very scary. My husband kind of like shut down a little bit. He just wasn't really talking much, and he don't talk much at all anyway. As y'all can see, he don't really say much. He just, he just didn't know what to do or which way to go. He just was so confused. So right now we're going through this program called Life with Cancer, because my oldest boy who deals with autism, he still was having a hard time with it. My youngest boy who's 11, he's having a hard time with it. So we all trying to get on board so that we all be comfortable with this disease and with this sickness. You get what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I never wanted to be a victim. I want to be victorious. So that's what I'm standing on. And when I cry with faith, knowing that God is going to bring me through this. This is just a test that I didn't was not prepared for. It's a test that did not require no pen, no paper, no pencil. It's just a test that I was not prepared for. And if nobody else knows me, God knows me. So this wouldn't have been put on me if He knew that I couldn't handle it. He know I can handle it. I just, I have my days where I'm very sad and I don't say nothing. I have my days when I just want to be shut out. I don't want to say nothing. I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to eat nothing. I just want to be absorbed in myself and just be with myself. Kind of like cast myself out a little bit. But it's just one of those things that I wasn't expecting. But this is my story of how I found out I had stage 3 colon cancer. So I already started my first chemo treatment last week, which was October 8th. I mean, yeah, last week, October 8th, on Monday. Monday, October 8th of this year, 2018. So I have to do 12 treatments. So I'll be finished around the end of March going into April. So I'll keep you guys update on my chemo and everything like that. Or I'll try to do that because that chemo is the devil. It is the devil from the pits of hell. I've never felt so sick in my entire life. I'd rather somebody tell me I was pregnant and that I could have a baby outside on the streets with no epidural. I will do it than to have chemo. I swear to you not. So, just leave your comments in the description. I mean, leave your comments down below if you have any comments or you want to say anything or any encouraging words. I'll accept anything at this point. But thank you again for listening to my cancer story. I really appreciate y'all, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm trying to get back into doing my makeup and stuff because I haven't really been feeling like myself. I don't really want to do no makeup. I don't want to do no nothing. I just don't want to do nothing. You know what I mean? So I'm going to get back into doing my makeup because it kind of gives me solitude. You know what I'm saying? Kind of gives me, that give me some type of, it's therapeutic. Whether I'm good or bad at it, I just love to do it. So this is my story of how I found out I had cancer. And I will see you guys on my next video. Thank you for tuning in.